What if an American, trained at one of the nation's most elite universities, turned against his country in its hour of greatest need? What if he pledged himself to Hitler's collapsing Reich, only to betray even the Nazis who trusted him? This is the story of Operation Elster, a mission of espionage undone not by Allied strength, but by betrayal from within. Stay with us as we uncover how William Colepaugh abandoned his homeland, deceived his allies, and left behind only a legacy of shame. William Curtis Colepaugh was born in 1918 in Neantic, Connecticut, with every opportunity for an ordinary, comfortable American life. His parents gave him education and stability, but he longed for more than the quiet path laid before him. At MIT, he studied among the brightest minds in the country, excelling in mechanics and engineering. Professors recognized his intelligence, but his peers saw a young man restless and never satisfied. Beneath the surface, he craved adventure and importance, chasing something greater than the steady life of his classmates. Friends remembered him as unreliable, drifting from one pursuit to another, never committing long enough to succeed. As World War II spread across Europe, his attention turned not to democracy, but to fascism's show of power. He admired authoritarian leaders, imagining himself aligned with their bold vision of decisive rule. By the early 1940s, instead of serving his own country, Colepaugh sought opportunity in its enemy. He traveled to Germany, offering himself to Nazi intelligence as a willing recruit. For Berlin, an American volunteer was invaluable. Fluent in English, able to blend in seamlessly, and capable of carrying secrets home. And so, William Colepaugh was recruited, transformed from a restless student into a spy for Hitler's Reich. The mission was named Operation Elster, German for magpie, a bird known for stealing shiny things. Its purpose was to gather intelligence on American shipbuilding, technology, and troop movements. By late 1944, Germany was desperate, losing on every front and willing to gamble on bold missions. To lead the operation, they chose Erich Gimpel, a seasoned German spy with years of experience. By his side was Colepaugh, the young American defector, eager for importance, but untested in loyalty. Their journey began aboard U-1230, a German submarine crossing the Atlantic in darkness. Life aboard the U-boat was suffocating with cramped bunks, stale air, and constant fear of discovery. For weeks, they evaded Allied patrols, creeping silently toward the American coast. On November 29, 1944, the submarine surfaced off Maine's rocky shoreline. Gimpel and Colepaugh climbed into a rubber dinghy, rowing through icy waters toward land. They carried pistols, false documents, and $60,000 in cash. When they reached Hancock, Maine, they buried their supplies and began moving inland. Operation Elster had officially begun, its spies walking unnoticed on American soil. For Gimpel, undercover work was familiar, his training preparing him for patience and precision. For Colepaugh, returning to America stirred something else entirely. He rediscovered comforts he had missed: restaurants, warm beds, and familiar streets. The luxuries of home soon outweighed any loyalty to Berlin. In New York City, they rented an apartment to begin their mission. Gimpel sketched plans and prepared codes, focused on contacting Berlin by radio. Colepaugh spent money recklessly on meals, entertainment, and women. Gimpel grew frustrated, watching his partner waste resources meant for espionage. Instead of serving the Reich, Colepaugh indulged himself with the city's pleasures. The mission faltered before it ever truly began. Within weeks, Colepaugh's nerves unraveled under the pressure of secrecy. He confided dangerous details to acquaintances, letting his mask slip. Whether through fear, weakness, or guilt, he cracked. On December 26, 1944, he surrendered himself to the FBI. He revealed the mission, the cash, the supplies, and his German partner. His betrayal was complete against his country, against Germany, and against his comrade. Within days, the FBI arrested Erich Gimpel, ending the mission. Operation Elster collapsed, not from discovery, but from betrayal within. The grand Nazi mission in America was over before it truly began. In February 1945, Colepaugh and Gimpel were tried before a U.S. military tribunal. Both were sentenced to death by hanging for espionage. Newspapers condemned Colepaugh as the American who betrayed his homeland. Yet within months, the war in Europe was over. Germany surrendered, Hitler was dead, and the Reich destroyed. President Truman commuted both sentences to prison terms. Gimpel served 10 years before returning to Germany. Colepaugh served decades, released quietly in 1960. He lived in obscurity until his death in 2005. The man who sought greatness ended forgotten. Operation Elster is remembered not for daring espionage, but for its failure. It revealed how trust placed in the wrong man could destroy a mission. Colepaugh's story was not about loyalty, but selfishness. He betrayed America by serving Germany. He betrayed Germany by abandoning its mission. He betrayed his comrade by handing him to the FBI. Unlike Quisling in Norway, his name never became infamous. Yet his weakness proved as destructive as treason. He dreamed of power but ended with prison. He wanted recognition but died obscure. For historians, his story is a warning. Judas can appear not only as zealot, but as coward. Operation Elster showed betrayal can undo even boldest plans. His story reminds us that weakness can be fatal. This was the Judas Files. Subscribe for more betrayals that changed history.